It's improv performing wife versus woodworking husband, with Comedy Central's Amy Eicher taking on Cartoon Network's Derek McClurg in Gilmore Girls and Super Nintendo trivia. This is Trivia with Buds. Happy Tuesday morning, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. This is the weekly trivia podcast where you can hear two friends of mine go head-to-head in pop culture topics that they're good at, where one winner is declared at the end of it. Thanks so much for listening. Check out the reviews on iTunes and leave one of your own. All those reviews help us get higher in the charts amongst all the fun stuff that goes on in the podcast world. And I am your host. My name's Ryan Buds. I'm a trivia host. I am a comedian. I am a segment producer on a Nickelodeon show called Crash Leads, hosted by Rob Gronkowski. That's the closest I ever get to real sports that's not wrestling. Speaking of wrestling, Donald Trump is the president, everybody. He once clotheslined Vince McMahon at a WrestleMania event, and now he is the president of our country. They said Linda McMahon might be up for some sort of Secretary of Commerce job. So the world is becoming a wrestling storyline. I saw there was a huge anti-Trump rally in LA. I did not attend rallies. I'm not a big rally guy. I feel like even if the intentions are good of a rally, like nothing good actually comes. You know, you're like, hey, how was the big rally? And you're like, well, we caused some traffic and Bill got tased. Yeah. And somehow I spent $2,000 on Sharpie markers. I don't know how that happened, but it was a great rally. And it was a memorable birthday for me and my daughter. The election was on my daughter's second birthday. I thought she was going to be, it was a big memorable day as the first female president day. And boy, was I wrong, as was the shock value of the rest of the country. There is a brand new sketch, getting off the political stuff. There's a brand new sketch on my Facebook page. It is called Hot Ice Cream. It is a sketch group me and my sister-in-law, Wendy Starling, great comedian from New York, put together a couple of years back, and we put out like 30 sketches or so, and she was in town for the birthdays this past week. So Wendy and I shot a sketch called The Truffle Couple. It is a pitch by this weird couple who is into truffle oil to get their own TLC show. So check that out on Facebook. You can find it posted everywhere on our Facebook pages. Hot Ice Cream. And check out all our old sketches if you search Hot Ice Cream Comedy on YouTube. We have an amazing show for you today featuring two good friends of mine, Derek McClurg and Amy Eicher, some of my very first trivia players in the world out here in Los Angeles, California. They were also on the team Snugs Not Drugs. If you remember an episode, I think it was episode 8 or 9, Jason Bice and Jefferson Nolan. It was the chicken wings. It was the Wings versus Disneyland episode, if you want to go back and listen to that. Those two and these two were all part of a big team along with Jason's wife, and they were called Snugs Not Drugs at a place I used to host trivia in Burbank, California called The Snug. So more fun friends from the Snug days. Derek and Amy are a hoot and a holler to listen to on this episode of the show. If you like it, tell a friend about it and play along with them. I have people that wrote to me and said they love facing each other. They are boyfriend, girlfriend. They love to play this podcast against each other. So I'm glad that people are using it for that. I hope it's bringing people together or breaking people up. Whatever it does, I hope it's changing your lives for the better. Thanks so much for listening and enjoy this episode of the show. Here we go. I am sitting here in beautiful Glendale, California, the city that I was born in. Now, I work in this city in a building called the Hollywood Production Center, and I am joined by two friends of mine, two good friends of mine. I always start the podcast that way, and this time it's actually true. I'm sitting here with Mr. Derek McClurg and Amy Eicher.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Now, you guys are married.
Yes.
Do not have the same last name.
No.
That's true. That is because you are an independent woman.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right, Amy. Amy and Derek, I met you guys over at a bar in Burbank, California called The Snug. I've had a few other guests that I met at The Snug on this show. Lynn Hartwell, Jason Bice, Jefferson Nolan. And now you guys, and you were a part of a trivia team, I would say my first friendliest trivia team in California
honored.
When I moved out here in about 2012. And you guys used to come every Sunday and play at the Snug You'd play Trivia with Buds, and you guys were always called Snugs, Not Drugs.
That is correct.
That was fun times, right?
That was great times.
It was a good spot.
You used to come out every Sunday. You guys would always dominate. And then I think, Amy, you were the one who kind of invited me and the wife to hang out with your group because Ashley, my wife, used to come and help me do the scores and things. And I think that you were like, hey, we're doing something. Why don't you come over for game night or something like that? And then we all kind of became friends. And then since then, we've started swinging. And that has made the sex life very exciting. But you guys were very kind to us when we moved out here, some of our first friends in the LA area. And I've known you for the last couple of years. And you're both very successful, career-oriented, production industry working like folks. My friend Derek over here, you work on a show called We Bear Bears.
That's right.
It's an animated show.
Animated show, Cartoon Network.
Yep.
Everybody check it out.
Check it out. And
what's your job?
Yeah, what do you do?
Oh, I'm a production coordinator for the art department, so I sort of manage all the artwork and the artists before we
coordinating
send it overseas
the
to
production.
Do the real hard stuff.
Very good. And like you've done that on a few other different shows. The Awesomes.
Yeah, the Awesomes.
Hulu superhero series?
A Hulu series, a very short-lived series on Fox called Bordertown.
Bordertown. Seth MacFarlane produced.
Not great.
Animated show. Did not go so well. Was that fun working on that show?
It was, yeah. It was a good one.
Yeah. And now you work on We Bear Bears.
Don't forget people will listen to this. We respect everyone who worked on Bordertown, especially Jason Bice, former podcast guest.
Yes, that's right.
Our friend Jason Bice also worked on that show, which was actually very good.
I love. What was funny is when I would watch that show, I'd go, Jason, I really like this one joke, and he's like, I came up with that joke. Like as the writer's assistant, he got to throw some jokes in there, and I always appreciated the ones that ended up being his, which was really cool. Amy, you work over at Comedy Central on a number of shows, including At Midnight.
Yeah,
that's everybody's favorite show. If you like this podcast, you probably like At Midnight.
Yeah.
What do you do over there?
I have a weird title. I'm a multi-platform strategy producer.
Now, Amy, why don't you break that down? What would that be? Platforming, like video game platforming?
I guess if we had one, but we don't. But anything online, on the internet, apps, podcasts related to our programs, I'll sort of have a hand in. But yeah, At Midnight is my main priority over there.
Your main jam. That's what you're doing over there. You have run Twitter accounts for some famous people, I believe.
More or less. Most of the time, they have their own autonomy over it, but I provide support. But I guess the one you're probably thinking of is Tig Notaro's Twitter account.
That I do remember that, but that was not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of Billy on the Street.
No, don't let him hear you say that. Billy 100% runs all of his own accounts.
Sure.
I didn't even have the password for Twitter, but yes, I did work on Billy on the Street. I would give him gifts to tweets. Videos to tweet.
So that's the support part of your job. You're like, hey, how about this kind of fits what you're talking about today or that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, it's more like, for that, it was more supporting the show content.
Yeah.
But with At Midnight, they do a lot of topical stuff.
Sure.
And they have a great digital team that works for the show that has a lot of autonomy on what they do. But I'll try to say, hey, I love this idea. Maybe you should post it at night. Maybe you should post it in the day.
Oh, that's a good point.
Maybe you should let me tell this person about it so that they'll repost it.
Sure.
Maybe you need an extra microphone for it. I'll buy it for you. Those sorts of things.
Now, did you have to kind of prove yourself in a social media capacity before you got that job where you like, here's my personal accounts and what I've done for them? Or do they just kind of go, this person would be good at this, and then you kind of take off with it?
Well, it's not so much my personal stuff, but more my career path, because I think that a lot of times in the social media for comedy world, you hire a lot of people who are social writers. Like you might see a lot of stand-ups who work in that regard.
Yeah.
But I will work more with those kind of people to keep them on track. Sort of like how Derek works with the artists.
Gotcha.
To keep them on track.
Gotcha.
You gotta keep them on track.
Yeah, we're both real taskmasters.
Yeah. And Derek, when you're working over on these animated shows, those things take years at a time to get done, right? So you're, like they always say an episode of animated television can take over.
Our episodes are only 11 minutes long, so they generally take 4 or 5 months from start to finish.
Sure.
But
for
11 minutes, that's a long time.
Yeah. So are there several teams then of people, like if there's 22 episodes a season and it takes 4 or 5 months, is it like there's 22 groups of animators working on those things?
Basically, there's different departments, and you'll start an episode, and then 2 weeks later you'll start a new episode.
Gotcha. So you're all doing a little bit at a time.
It all just moves on down the line.
It's like
that
an
makes more
assembly
sense.
line.
Exactly.
There you go. A production coordinator and a multi-platform social marketer.
Close enough.
All right, very good. I have never had two guests of your caliber on this show.
Thank
very
you
technical
so
jobs.
much.
Thanks so much for doing it. Amy, I wanted to mention that we had an amazing time at your birthday party.
Oh, thank you.
You are a
Thank you for
karaoke
coming.
master.
Thank
and it was a
you.
karaoke party at a place called Sardo's, known for their porn star karaoke. Have you ever gone to the porn star karaoke day?
No, but I don't know if I told you this. I believe I made friends with a porn star at that very party.
Oh, really?
Yes, because she was wearing buttons for Proposition 60, which is
the condom one.
The condom.
Sure. I
question.
also wear those buttons.
And she was like, ask me about my buttons. So I did. We had a nice talk. I told her I was on her side.
Yeah.
And she offered to buy me a drink.
Oh, there you go. Have you guys seen my voting shirt? Every button on the shirt is a different proposition.
Nice.
It just keeps the shirt together, and it keeps our world together if people vote for those issues.
Well, we have 17 on the California ballot.
It's
so.
a long shirt. It is almost like a nightgown. You could see it. I'm wearing it right now.
You look great.
I look great. Thank you.
It was loud, though. We had to put some mufflers on you before recording.
That is true. I went there one time for porn star karaoke with a friend, or I was meeting somebody for a drink, and it happened to be porn star. I wasn't tracking it down. I just want to put that out there. I don't search. I don't try and find what porn stars are doing in their spare time. Although one time I was at a Ralph's grocery store and I watched 3 porn stars try and buy a cake for who I'm guessing was like the director for his birthday, and they're like, "How do you spell his name?" And they were very porn star-esque. Gals. It was very
They
fun.
also have children's karaoke at the very same establishment.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They do?
That's
So we
what
went
we
early
learned.
one time.
It ends at 8 o'clock on Saturdays, so I don't know what time it starts, but we started a birthday party too early, and we
Sure.
got there were kids singing.
Oh, no. Well, you can't cross those events or else it's, I
No.
think, illegal. But that's great. I went one time, and it was kind of strange. The karaoke was just standard. It was like, like any karaoke night you'd ever been to, except they were advertising and that they were porn stars singing. And then there were kind of some weird dudes taping it, like on their phone, where you're like, oh, they're kind of making a new relationship past the porn. Like they're like, I've seen this person bend in every way possible, but now I got to hear those pipes,
Yeah.
It's like this very strange kind of a thing. But your party there was amazing. What were some of the songs you sang that night?
I sang Your Love by The Outfield,
That's right.
and I did a duet to Suddenly Seymour.
Oh, that's right. You did with your friend.
Yes, with my friend Daniel Hashimoto. Sorry, I butchered your name, Hashi. Also known as Action Movie Dad.
That's right. Oh, that's who you sang with. That's correct. Yeah, Action Movie Dad. I should have him on the podcast.
You should.
He probably knows a lot of
Very
stuff.
fun. Yeah.
That Action Movie, is it Action Movie Kid?
Yeah, he has 2 channels. Action Movie Kid is
Yeah.
the one that is more famous, but he does Action Movie Dad with behind-the-scenes tutorials.
That's right. He just put out a Tooth Fairy one that I saw. That was very cool. Very cool. I'll talk to him about being on the show. Derek, you are not so much karaoke, did you? Or no, you did.
I did.
You did
I
karaoke
do
that night.
Basically, one song. It's "Friends in Low Places" by Garth Brooks.
And I thought Garth had walked in and blew the doors off the place.
I will say one of my coworkers at midnight, Mike Ginn, I'll give him a shout out because he has a good Twitter. Shut up, Mike Ginn on Twitter. He said 2 days later, "Hey, your husband was really good at Garth Brooks."
It was still
You
in his
Might
mind.
have been joking.
He wasn't. He's a very
It was
sincere
good.
person.
I enjoyed it. So much so that I almost forgot you did it. When you're not karaokeing, Derek, you have a big woodshed that I'm looking out through a window right now at your house, and you make a bunch of stuff. You find reclaimed furniture? Is that what you do?
Well, I do a couple different things. I'll make.
Is this real quick? Is this McClurgan Sons?
McClurgan Sons?
Yes.
I find reclaimed wood
And that means you
coffee
just
tables.
and that means you
or-
steal it, right? You just you
Most of
walk
the
into
time.
people's house and you say, "You using this?"
Sometimes
No.
you can buy it, but most of the time, finding it on the side of the road is the way to go.
Very good. So
His
somebody's
car is full of spiders. That is not a joke.
because of all this reclaimed
Yes.
stuff. So you're walking down the street, you see someone throwing away an old door, and you're like, that could be a table, and that's what you do for fun.
That is what I do for fun.
But then you go to flea markets and
then
events,
then I sell it.
and you sell it. You
money.
flip it. That could be a TV show. Maybe we should pitch it. McClurgan
Yeah.
Sons, the show.
It is, what's that show that we hate watch?
Flea Market Flip.
Flea Market Flip.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a great show, but every time we watch it,
It's very overproduced.
We're like, these people are not as good as us.
They make a lot of bad decisions.
They do. A lot of bad decorating choices. Yeah. Well, Derek, if you ever want to start the show up, I know an excellent multi-platform. She won't tweet for you. I've learned that.
No.
But she will give you advice on videos to tweet about other people stealing wood as well.
I'll hire a young stand-up to write your tweets for you.
It's all coming together.
Well, let's see. I'll be 31. Do I still qualify?
You're out.
Oh, all right. Happy birthday to me. Okay, so now we know a little bit about you guys. We're going to learn even more by talking about the 5 topics you gave me for the podcast today. We're going to start with Amy's topics. Amy, these were the 5 things I asked you about, and you gave them to me. You said these are the things I know more than anything else in the world of trivia.
Yeah.
These are definitely your strongest topics. And the first one, presidential pets.
Yeah.
You follow that?
Yeah. Well,
Do you have a scrapbook? Do you like scrapbook president's
What
pets?
What happened was I heard about a few presidential pets, and I thought, this is fascinating, and I would like to make this my area of expertise. So I've just done some reading on it, mostly internet reading. I got to graduate to real books on it soon.
The type of pet a president has plays some part in the election for somebody, doesn't it? Kind of?
Yeah, they do say that... I believe it was Warren Harding's dog, King Tut.
Okay.
Helped him to win the election.
If you made that up right now, I would be like, that's not
I totally know the dog's name
true.
is King Tut. I may have got the president wrong.
Gotcha.
But I will say my favorite presidential pet is a garter snake that belonged to Teddy Roosevelt's daughter, Alice.
Wow.
Her name was Emily Spinach, and she carried her in her purse. And I just think that's a great story. The snake's name was Emily Spinach, and it was the purse snake of Alice Roosevelt.
Wow. I don't think anybody knows that except you.
Well, you're welcome.
You said Warren Harding. You meant Warren G. Harding?
Yes.
You're talking about the president.
He was regulating his campaign.
Well, that's why I brought it up again, for someone to make that joke. And that might have been a 31-year-old comedian, but it was you to make the joke. So thank you so much.
You're welcome again.
Your next topic on the list, fruits and vegetables. Very broad.
Yes.
Very broad. Now, Derek, you did not know these topics, did you?
No.
So what do you think about that? If the topic chosen is fruits and vegetables, can you beat her in a cucumber off?
There's no way that I could beat her in fruits and vegetables.
You are a vegetarian?
Vegan. Yes.
Which is like stronger physically and mentally than a vegetarian.
It's, I hate labels, but I eat a plant-based diet, so I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and I like to try different and new ones.
And you've been doing that your whole life?
6 years full vegan, but I've been some form of vegetarian for the past 16 years.
Well done. That's hard to do. Derek, are you...
Except when you fell off the wagon that one time.
What? Oh, yeah. There was one when I was 20.
Just ate an entire spit roasted pig by yourself.
Mostly like shrimp.
I ate meat for a year when I was 20. No, well, I'm saying some form of vegetarian. Okay. When I was 14, I only stopped eating red meat and pork. But this is a long, boring story that I'm not going to get into. But if you have any questions, you can tweet me later.
What would be an example, like, if I was like, is a tomato a fruit or would that the trivia question maybe you had in your head?
Maybe, or I don't know, maybe I guess this is audio, so I don't know. I was thinking maybe there'd be a photo.
Maybe I'd bring some real fruits. I have a question for you. What type of tree is growing in your backyard right now?
It is a grapefruit
tree. 1 point for Amy.
I knew that one.
Sorry, Derek. Your next topic, Broadway musicals.
Yes.
This is, we went from presidents to fruits and vegetables. You're very cultured, it seems like, because there's some good stuff here.
I did curate this so that I would sound interesting.
Yes. Speaking of sounding interesting, I listened to a couple songs off this Hamilton soundtrack.
Oh, it's great. I was
kind of into it. I was like, I got to see what this is all about. I get why people like it.
I did want to put Alexander Hamilton as one of my topics, but Derek advised me against it.
Do you know what kind of pet he had?
I don't think he had one. Well, he wasn't a president.
That's true.
Zing.
But
so he's.
Do you know what kind of pet he had?
I can't imagine he would have time for one or would care. He was too invested in his writing.
What was his? What did he do?
He was the first Secretary of the Treasury of the United States, and he wrote most of the Federalist Papers that helped to ratify the Constitution.
In my head, when I see someone with one of those like white wigs or crazy hair, I'm like, they must have been a president.
Yeah.
And that's how I run my life.
Well, if you continue listening to Hamilton, you'll find out why he couldn't become president. It's because he had a sex scandal.
Oh, he did? Did he attempt to run for president?
No, but there's basically a song in that musical. All my knowledge about Hamilton comes from the musical. There's a song in the musical where they say he's never going to be president now.
Oh, because he tried to get a beej into something, right?
Also, he was killed.
Oh.
So that may have... He was assassinated by the vice president.
Oh, my God.
That's insane. You could totally
now I really
see
need
Dick Cheney do that.
Now I need to see this musical. Now I really need to see it. Have you seen it?
I haven't even seen it. I just listened to it a lot.
Listen to it a lot?
But besides Hamilton, I enjoy all Broadway musicals. The most recent one I saw, I'm actually drinking out of a mug from it, is Waitress.
Waitress. That's based on the movie.
Yep.
Where that poor woman was tragically killed.
Yeah, it's a really sad story.
And that was a great movie.
Also wept through most of the musical. So
is it pretty similar to the movie, or is it a totally different story? Or
it's really similar to the movie, but with the music of Sarah Bareilles.
Oh, very cool.
So
I'll have to check that out. The wife would love that too. Your next topic, Gilmore Girls. Speaking of stuff the wife loves.
Yeah.
Every wife loves Gilmore Girls.
That's true.
Right?
Well, yeah, Gilmore Girls is one of my all-time favorite shows.
There's a podcast called Gilmore Guys, isn't there? Where they talk about every episode?
I know one of those Gilmore guys.
Oh, you do?
Demi, he's a great Gilmore guy.
Derek, have you seen the show?
I have seen clips when Amy's been watching it, but I've not watched the show.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Same thing. I've seen episodes here and there. My mom and my sister used to love it. And it came out, it was a while ago when it came out, like mid-2000s?
Yeah, it ended 10 years ago. I believe it came out 16 years ago.
Oh, wow.
But
2000, 2001.
Yeah. It's obviously fresh on my mind because the Netflix revival comes back at the end of November.
Yeah, that's going to be very exciting.
So while there are a lot of TV shows that I know about, I thought that this one was on my heart at this time.
Very good. Will and Grace, I heard, is coming back too. Do you hear about that? Maybe to NBC, possibly.
Well, did you see they did a 10-minute election special?
Oh, they did.
And I think it was so well received that now the rumors are flying, but I don't know what's true.
That's a whole new world we're living in where they're just going to keep bringing stuff back. It's like not even remakes. It's just like, remember that show that ended? Let's just do that again.
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for Night Court, just to get the Night Court back in session.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be fun. What are those people doing? Yeah, Bull. Some of them may be dead. Your next topic was, and your last topic, famous cults.
Yeah.
I read that out loud to the wife. She's like, Amy knows about cults? And I was like, I guess. And she goes, huh. And then just like walked out of the room. What do you know about cults?
I just find them very fascinating.
Sure. Have you seen the movie The Invitation?
No. Is that who's in that?
Nobody, but it's like it's like kind of an indie thriller where you're like there's some cult like stuff going on.
Okay.
And you're like, wait, is it, or is this main character paranoid, or like what is it? But it's very, very interesting movie, and it takes place in LA. So I would highly recommend The Invitation. Who are some of your favorite cults?
Well, Scientology.
Yeah, you are wearing a Manson crew neck sweatshirt, so I should say that. You're a big fan.
I mean, living in Los Angeles, Scientology is the most prevalent. It's very fascinating to me.
Yes.
But I think I realize I don't have an obsessive knowledge, but I definitely am drawn to any kind of pop culture. I just read this book called The Girls by, I believe, Emma Cline is the author. And it's fiction, but it's basically based on like the Charles Manson girls. And I read that, and Derek and I were having a conversation about, I believe a light conversation about the death penalty recently. And I referenced having read Charles Manson's Wikipedia page recently, and he did not ask me any questions. And when I said, hey, don't you have any follow-up questions? And he said, you want to say what he said?
I don't remember what I said, but it was probably something like...
You said...
You always are looking about cults.
You said, oh, I know you're a weird cult girl.
A weird cult girl.
But I think if I get deep on it for a moment, I think some of my interest may have stemmed from... I went to like a very intense evangelical church for a couple of years when I was in like elementary school. And I had a Sunday school teacher that was obsessed with cults in the way that like they were going to get me.
Really?
So I had like a fear of cults that stemmed into a realization of the irony that how close this woman's affiliations were to them. And yet she had this strong fear of them. So
that's very interesting. Some people, Derek, some people collect pogs. Some people follow cults. That's how the world works. I would say most of the people who come to my trivia nights on a weekly basis for 2.5 years are to some degree in a cult, right? They're like, I need this thing. I like this thing. And I need $25 bar tab real bad.
But if you like cults, I like The Girls is a great book. The Path on Hulu is a great show.
Oh yeah, I heard that's good.
And I believe that Jonestown is going to be one of the upcoming American crime story shows.
Oh, I did hear about that. Yeah.
So I'm
very good
about that one.
So those were your topics. We're going to jump into Derek's Heavy D, which is what I call you all the time.
That's right.
Are you ready for these
ready.
topics? You said Abe Lincoln.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Lincoln besides that whole, freeing the slaves thing?
Oh,
or that I guess that could be it. You can say that if you want.
I mean, that's a pretty good one if you take that out of the mix.
Is it the hat?
I don't know.
Is it the beard? Is it the theater loving?
To be honest, I got into Lincoln when I read a book called Manhunt about John Wilkes Booth and how he pulled off the assassination and then was on the run for like 12 days.
Fascinating. I had a book called The Wit and Wisdom of Abe Lincoln. My mom bought me from a Hallmark store, and it was just little it was just little quotes like, always bring a second hat, Abe Lincoln. You're like, what? Like, it's just totally out of context quote.
True?
Should I always bring two hats somewhere? You love Abe Lincoln.
I do.
Have you ever dressed up like him for Halloween?
No, I haven't, but
that's a good costume.
Probably should.
You have the perfect facial hair. You just need what they call a top hat. And then you need to decide if you're going to be that vampire hunter, Abe Lincoln, or not.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I saw it in theaters. It's kind of a bomb.
That movie is terrible.
Terrible movie.
But the book that it's based on is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I hear Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, same kind of thing. Like the book's real fun, but the movie not so fun. But we'll see. Did you guys see that one?
No. Can't speak to that.
Can't speak to that one. Your next topic, Seinfeld, and then you put again, because we did it on the very first episode, or second episode of the podcast, Seinfeld versus WWE. I could always bring it back. There's lots of Seinfeld. There's some specific, you could be like Seinfeld side character, Seinfeld whatever, So that's kind of fun. What is your favorite Seinfeld episode of all time?
That is a very hard question. But one of my favorites is one of the early ones called The Stakeout.
Yes.
Where Jerry and George stake out a woman's workplace to run into her.
Is the whole episode almost like right in the stakeout, or is there's more to it than that?
No, there's more to it.
Yeah.
They meet at the dinner party.
Oh,
they
that's
meet at a dinner party, and then he has to come up with the idea. And that's where George invents Art Vandelay for the first time.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. Did you ever, whenever I see people like that show, I guess we're coming up on the age they probably would have been around that time, don't you think? At the beginning of the series, they're probably like 31, 32-ish.
Yeah.
So, but it just seems to me like that was the oldest, boringest party of all time to watch. You're like, oh, I would not want to be at this table. These people look like they're so old and boring. And then now I'm approaching the age where I'm like, maybe my parties are like that.
I don't know.
Going to a dinner party where you just eat and talk.
Yeah, I don't think Jerry had a good time besides that one woman he talked to.
That's true. She was gorgeous, that actress. She's been in some other stuff.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
My favorite episode is The Gum. I just want to throw that in there.
The gum where
that's the
Jerry
one.
gets the boxes and boxes of gum?
Yes, but my favorite part of that is when Jerry has to pretend that he wears glasses and he puts on these glasses.
Giant Coke bottle glasses.
I actually had that photo saved on my phone for a long time to look at. Anytime I was sad.
It is really
Anytime you were sad.
Derek, you should say the fun fact about your love of Seinfeld is that it was in our wedding vows.
It was. What did you say?
That's true.
We wrote them separately, and we both independently wrote basically the same line about Seinfeld.
Basically, just that we want to watch Seinfeld with each other.
Oh, that's cute as all. That's cute as all get out. Yeah. I like that. That's good stuff. I did not include Seinfeld in my vows. I made a Voltron reference. No, that's not true. This was, you said after, I should say after Seinfeld, you said again, question mark, and then you said, or Parks and Rec. So it was
that's like my backup.
Your backup sitcom one. Very good.
I also love, but not. I don't know as much as I do about Seinfeld.
You just rewatch.
Jim O'Hare plays Jerry, Larry, Terry, Gary. Was on the podcast, episode 5. If you want to check that out, listeners, Jim O'Hare, who plays Jerry on that show, was on my show, and you could listen to it. He goes head to head in sitcom trivia against Johnny Cash trivia, and he faces his cousin Matt O'Hare, who I went to college with, and that's how I know Jim. So yeah, check that out. Parks and Rec, great show. I was lucky enough; I got to be on the wedding episode as an extra for like a week long. I got to wear tux, and I have this great picture of me with the entire cast of the show, and then Jim got everyone to sign it for me. So I have that at home. It's very, very cool. He's a great dude. So you feel like you can nail some Parks and Rec trivia?
I think so.
What's the name of the town the show takes place in? That's a sample.
Oh, Pawnee, Indiana.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's how it's done. Amy, you should have really just jumped on that, I think.
I wanted to let him have his moment.
I saw you also
wipe the floor with him later.
You were also just thinking of cults, I could tell.
Yeah.
You were carving something in your skin while he talked, which I thought was very interesting. Your next topic, 80s, 90s action movies. That was the pinnacle of 80s and 90s, or of action movies was the 80s and 90s, I think.
Yeah. I didn't know if I should narrow it down to one decade or the other, but
sure.
I feel like it kind of crosses over.
What do you think is the action movie from that time period that like a lot of modern action movies probably take the most from? You know, like they use it as an example, like we want to make this type of movie, but now, you know, like when you're making London Has Fallen, you're like, this is like whatever.
It's probably always Die Hard,
right?
But something.
I always think
Die Hard in the White House.
Die Hard in the White House. Die Hard on a boat.
Yeah.
Which is basically the movie Boat Trip. I don't know if you guys saw that with Horatio Sands and Cuba Gooding Jr.
No, there is a Die Hard on a boat. Isn't it Under Siege?
Under Siege. Die Hard on a boat. See, we learned something new.
I should have put for a category 90s action movies that take place on planes because that's my favorite genre of movie probably.
That's pretty good. Well, let's name a couple. Let's see. Air Force One.
Air Force One, Con Air.
Executive Decision.
Turbulence. Did you ever see that movie?
What's the one? What's the Always Bet on Black one?
Passenger 57.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. He's a passenger on a plane. The 57th
He's
passenger.
The 57th passenger.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. That'd be a fun category. Movies that take place on planes. Your next topic, Jurassic Park.
Yeah. My favorite
does not
movie
take
of all
place
time.
on a plane. But that would be fun. Dinosaurs on a plane. You can work
There's
that
some
out.
helicopter scenes.
That's true.
Your favorite movie of all time?
Yep.
Really? Can you quote it?
I probably could.
I got one for you. What does the old man say when he slams his fist on the table?
I don't remember that part.
You don't remember that part? He goes, "Damn." That's it. That's the only quote I
Your
remember.
favorite one that you say anytime we're out driving.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
No, hold on to your butts.
Yeah.
What is it?
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts. That is a very dad-like thing to say.
Yeah.
And that's why your company's called McClurg & Sons. You have a child Amy doesn't know about.
We do actually sitting under the table. He's a little poodle.
Oh, that's right. Lucky Boy.
Yep.
Lucky Boy is our son.
Lucky Boy Confusion is a band from Chicago.
Oh.
Lucky Boys Confusion. Remember them? No?
No.
We're
All
not
right.
from Chicago.
Maybe I made it up. Here
I've only
is...
been to the airport.
Oh, yeah. O'Hare or Midway.
O'Hare. It's one of my favorite airports. They have really good food.
Yeah, that's true. It's not bad. Midway is not that great. A lot of crap hot
Good
dogs
to know.
and popcorn stuff. Your last topic, Derek, was Super Nintendo.
Yes.
Which I am told from BuzzFeed type articles online that it is every great modern game owes their success to the Super Nintendo system.
It is an amazing system.
A lot of good games.
A lot of good games.
Do you have one?
I do have one, but I'm now thinking like there's so many games that I may have overstepped with how much I know about Super Nintendo games.
Are you a big Mario guy? Have you always been a Nintendo guy?
Yes, I've always been into Nintendo.
Yeah. Do you play games modern games now, or mostly retro?
Not so much. I'll play my Super Nintendo once in a while, but Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 was like my whole childhood.
Sure. A lot of people, especially people on this podcast, 64 is a part of like everybody's childhood. Even if, no matter what age you are, it's like, oh, when 64 came out, it brought people together.
That's true.
I was
Super
a Sega
Nintendo.
Genesis kid.
Me too, which is funny. I had friends who had Super Nintendo, and I always had Sega. But then as I got older, I'm like, well, Super Nintendo is better. So I remember my sister's boyfriend let me borrow Super Punch Out, and his Super Nintendo. And when you're a kid sometimes and people let you borrow things, you're like, I guess this is just mine. Like, I'm going to keep this forever. And then I remember like 9 months went by, and then he's like, hey, can I get that back? And I was like, oh, I thought it was mine now.
I know some adults that are like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. I was
lost a lot of things that way.
I remember I borrowed a video game from a kid, a friend. This is a confession. And I sold it to GameStop. I sold it to GameStop.
Wow.
Isn't that terrible? It was called Funko Land at the time. Funko Land.
Also,
Oh, yeah, I
GameStop's
remember
a
that.
real ripoff. So
Yeah.
you
Oh, it was
should have
terrible.
Sold it somewhere
It was
else
terrible.
at least.
And he never would have known that I borrowed it. It was a game. I don't even remember what the game was, but he never played it. He like left it at my house, kind of a thing. Years had gone by, and I'm like, well, I'll just get rid of this and get $1 or whatever it was. And then another friend told him that I did that, and then he's like, hey, can I get my whatever game back? And I was like, God damn it.
So did you have to buy him a new game?
I think I gave him the money for whatever they gave to me. He was kind of like messing with me. I think I gave him the $1 or whatever it was. All right. So those were your 5 topics. This is the point in the show where we are going to reveal the 2 topics we chose for both of you. Amy, you ready? Derek, you ready?
Yep.
I'm ready.
Yep.
The topics are Gilmore Girls versus Super Nintendo.
Ooh.
and we are going to get into the trivia showdown. Okay, so now you guys, I think, have listened to the show before, so you kind of know how it works, but basically you're going to buzz in with a buzz-in word that means something to both of you. It could be a 1 or 2 syllable word. It could be something like Lucky, the dog. What would be a fun buzz-in word between the two of you?
I think that will confuse the dog.
Yeah. 20 times we'll be looking up, like, what do you want? Any fun words?
You got anything?
1 syllable.
How about butts?
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 To reference, hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts
from reference from earlier in the podcast.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's close to buds.
And it is close to buds, which has, I think butts and buds may have been buzzing words before. A lot of people called me Ryan Butts growing up, and it stung. And to those people, I say, I will find your video games, and I will trade them into GameStop for bullying me. No, but yeah.
There's a kid in my high school whose last name was actually Butts.
Oh, yeah. I meet Buttses all the time. I think Buds is a little bit cooler. Right?
Yeah.
Smoke them, drink them.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to buzz in with the word butts based on your favorite quote from Jurassic Park, Derek. And when you know the answer, just buzz in with that word. You get 1 point when you get your topic correct. So Jason. So Derek, when you get Super Nintendo right, you get 1 point. And Amy, when you get Gilmore Girls right, you get 1 point. But if you can steal each other's answers before... steal each other's topics answers before the other person can, you get 2 points. So there's a little edge in the competition. Now, Derek, do you feel confident to steal any Gilmore Girls questions?
Maybe I could just guess.
You could always guess. That's fun.
I have a guess answer.
There's a couple
deck.
guessable ones too. Like if Amy happens to miss it, then you might be able to do
won't.
it. And do you know a lot about Super Nintendo games?
No.
Oh, this will be an interesting match.
I think that I might get Derek on speed. So if there is like a broad one that I do know,
Very
I could
good.
probably steal.
Now, wait for the full question to be ready before you buzz in with the word butts. We're going to start. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
This is the Trivia Showdown.
Trivia Showdown.
Question number 1. We're going to start with Gilmore Girls. Now, either of you can answer. Here we go. Question 1. What is the name of the fictional town Gilmore Girls takes place in?
Butts.
Yes.
Stars Hollow.
That is right. Stars Hollow. Did you know that one, Derek? You
No,
looked
not
very
really.
excited. No? You looked like you were ready to buzz in. No?
Well, after I heard it, I was like, oh, yeah, that's definitely it.
Now, it's a fictional town, but there's a town, I think, in Connecticut that women visit. I guess
Yeah.
I shouldn't just say women. Men who like the show probably visit it too.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Have you ever thought about going there? No?
No.
No?
Not
All right.
once.
Doesn't sound like you're a real fan. Question number 1 for Super Nintendo. What Super Nintendo game features characters named Gabby J, Bald Bull, and Dragon Chan? Gabby J, Bald Bull, Dragon Chan. Super Nintendo game features characters with those names. Any guesses? You both look like you have something on the tip of your tongue.
I got nothing.
Nothing? No guess. You always can guess. Amy, you can guess. You got to buzz in with the word butts. Super Nintendo game features characters named Gabby J, Bald Bull, and Dragon Chan.
Butts.
Yes.
Mega Man.
Incorrect. Amy.
Butts.
Yes.
Dragon Chan and friends.
Who could forget the amazing adventures of Dragon Chan and Friends? A very great game. It was Super Punch-Out. Those are all boxers and Super Punch-Out, which is funny because we just mentioned it. Super Punch-Out, Gabby J, Bald Bull, Dragon Chan. Did not have the same names. I think Bald Bull is in the first Punch-Out, Mike Tyson Punch-Out.
No Glass Joe.
No Glass Joe. I think Gabby J is the Glass Joe of that game. So no points there. It's 1-0. Amy is up. And at the end of the game, I do want to say that you get prizes. Yeah.
Great.
And whoever loses has to divorce the other person.
Oh.
Okay.
I'd like to add that Derek has to watch an entire episode of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, I like
the
that.
wager.
What about a season?
And then Amy has to buy me a Super Nintendo game.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
Good
a pretty
deal.
good. That's I like. I should make the guests
We're
do more.
shaking hands.
Oh my
We're shaking
god!
hands.
And you're making out. Okay, that's a weird way of sealing the deal, but thank you. Oh, gross! People hate those noises. Number 2 for Gilmore Girls. How old was Lorelai when she gave birth to Rory?
Butts.
Oh, Derek almost buzzed in. What do you got, Amy?
16.
That is right. That's another point for Amy. Derek, I think you knew that one.
Yeah, I knew
Did
she was young. I was going to be somewhere in that range.
Cool.
16. Did you know any teen moms when you were in high school, Amy?
I don't think so. I think there may have been some in the periphery of my world, but
I'm going to
none
pretend
I
to know
can
what that word
remember.
means. Periphery.
It's like nearby.
Oh, like
but not
peripheral vision.
really- yeah.
But periphery is the noun version of it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's go to the periphery. No, that doesn't
Sure.
make sense. Okay. I'm going to open a bar called the Periphery, and it'll always be in sight. Is that what you did, right? Something like that?
Perfect.
Okay, question number 2, Super Nintendo. Ness plays the silent protagonist in what RPG? Ness plays the silent protagonist in what RPG?
Butts.
Yes.
Final Fantasy?
Close, but not correct. Amy?
Poor Dukes. Butts.
Yes.
Ness and Friends.
The sequel to Dragon Chan and Friends. It was Earthbound, the game Earthbound with Ness. Ness is a playable character in Smash Brothers. It was that giant box that came with like a strategy guide. I would see it at the grocery store, the video game store. And Earthbound, very fun game. Did you ever play it?
I did.
It was fun. It was like the stuff, an RPG like Final Fantasy, but with more like a baseball bat and a bicycle and some psychic powers. So a lot of fun.
Cool.
You guys seem equally as interested in each other's topics as I thought you'd be. Question number 3, Gilmore Girls. Lorelei's dog was named after what singer?
Butts.
Yes.
Paul Anka.
That is correct. That's 3 points for Amy. Now, Derek, you got to step it back up.
I'm in a lot of trouble.
Could I take a sidebar to give my strong opinion on the new upcoming Gilmore Girls? Mm-hmm. Paul Anka is somehow still alive.
Yes.
10 years later. Uh-huh. That's not possible.
Oh, the dog.
Yeah.
I think you meant the singer.
The actual.
Is the singer alive?
I don't know.
I don't think he is.
I don't think so.
But the dog was... I also think that Lorelai Gilmore should not have ever had a dog.
She's a bad dog
not
owner.
a responsible person. And the fact that she has kept this dog alive for maybe 20 years is disturbing to me.
It is strange to think... Is it supposed to be this many years later?
Yeah.
On the revival?
Indeed.
It'd be funny if it was like the next day. Question number 3. We're back onto Super Nintendo. In Zelda, A Link to the Past, what is the name of Link's weapon that allows him to grapple things? In Zelda, A Link to the Past, what is the name of Link's weapon that allows him to grapple things? Oh, heavy D.
Oh, man.
Just thinking it over. Did you think these were going to be a little easier, maybe? If I did this one?
This was my 5th category.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So
I never think about the order of categories people give me. Any guesses? Zelda, Link to the Past, what's the name of his weapon that allows him to grapple things?
Nope.
Nothing?
Guessing.
No guesses? Amy?
I will guess the grappler.
Not a bad guess. It was the hook shot. It was called the hook shot. That's what we're looking for there.
I know about that. Hyrule, right?
Mm-hmm. Hyrule Castle.
Oh,
well done.
Got it. Got all the references.
Question number 4. This is Gilmore Girls. What was Luke's diner before it was a diner?
Butts.
Yes.
A hardware store.
That is correct. That's 4 points to 0. Now, I've never had a complete shutout, but we might be on the way.
I think we're on track.
We might be on track. The hardware store. So I have not seen too much of this show. Did he run the hardware store? It was
his father.
His father did. He turns it into a diner.
Yes.
Very good.
He left the hardware store and he decided to turn it into a diner.
Interesting. Now, I read a lot about when you search for Gilmore Girls trivia, like a lot of stuff like did you know, like not necessarily trivia questions, but more like did you know stuff. And they said that the actor that played Luke channeled his own dad in real life to play that character. So the character of Luke is basically his dad, which I thought was interesting.
Well, great job, Scott Patterson.
There you go, Scotty P. Number 4, this is Super Nintendo. I don't think you will know it based on your performance so far, but maybe you'll prove me wrong.
This is a great category I picked.
Number 4 for Derek or Amy. What is the subtitle to Donkey Kong Country 3? Donkey Kong Country 3 subtitle. Any guesses? You can use Lucky's help if he can bark for you.
But
yes,
I'm gonna say Diddy Kong's Quest.
Oh, that is a great guess, and I think it is incorrect because that is number 2. That is. I think it's called Diddy's Kong Quest, or maybe it's Diddy Kong's Quest. Maybe you're right, but that was number 2. That is a good guess. Amy, any guesses for Donkey Kong Country 3?
Even Kongier.
It was Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. Dixie Kong.
Dixie Kong.
I did think it was about a woman. Mm-hmm. I had that vibe.
She is the female Donkey Kong, and she has the spinny hair. She can spin around. She has like a baby brother, like a baby Huey, a huge little brother, baby kind of a thing. Very fun game. Those games are worth a lot of money, I think, if you still have them in the box.
We know Derek does not have it.
Does not have that game. Here's number 5. This is Gilmore Girls. Back on that side. What does Rory shoplift after kissing Dean for the first time?
Butts.
Yes.
Cornstarch.
That is correct. Wow. You have not missed a beat, and that is 5-0. Wow. That is a very inside question. You knew that one.
Yeah.
Did you write the blog that I stole these questions from?
No, I just watched the show. I thought you were going to do some deeper cuts.
Deeper cuts?
This is everything you can know by watching it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, should have made it tougher.
That's okay.
Maybe I should have eased down on the Nintendo questions and eased up.
I do want the public to know that Derek is very good at trivia.
Listen, it's okay. I have to defend my trivia.
We have been known to DVR Jeopardy, and he has a real broad range of knowledge.
We do have a combo question coming up. That gets you 2 points. And then we have the categories with buds around, which is not related to either topic. So maybe Derek can get 3 on that and really come back. We'll see how it goes. I think you might get this one, Derek. This feels way more in your wheelhouse. Question number 5 for Super Nintendo. How many playable characters are there in Super Mario Kart?
Let's see.
He's thinking it over. How many playable characters in the first Super Mario Kart? You're both counting. You've taken off your shoes. It's getting weird.
But I'm going to go with 8.
It is correct.
Yay!
Derek's first point.
I mean, no, I'm gonna beat you.
And no shutout. Now it's not a complete shutout.
That's good.
Very, very good, Derek. It is 8 playable characters in that first one. I have a question for you. You've played that game a lot. When you collect the coins in that, do they do anything? I remember always trying to collect the coins, but I don't remember, did it make you faster or something?
I think if you get a certain number of coins, something happens.
Something happens.
I don't remember.
That is usually the case in those games with coins, but I couldn't remember. Amy, were you a Mario Karter?
No.
Never.
I have tried to play it and I don't like it. It's a very controversial opinion because I think a lot of times people's girlfriends love Mario Kart.
That's true. That's like the one game they might play, right?
Yeah, but no, I just wasn't into it. I like jigsaw puzzles.
Oh, very good.
On your way out, sorry, viewers, listeners, you won't be able to see this, but there's a Thomas Kincaid Beauty and the Beast jigsaw puzzle on our coffee table.
Oh my God. I can get anything for my mom that has Thomas Kincaid involved, and she's ecstatic about it.
Oh, well, does she listen to this? Because you could have this puzzle now that I've finished it.
Ooh, I'm going to take a puzzle and mail it to my mom. She'll have a blast with that. That'll be great. Number 6, this is back to Gilmore Girls. What band do Rory, her mom, Sookie, Paris, Louise, and Madeline go see together? What is the name of the band?
But
yes.
The Go-Go's.
Incorrect. Finally, Derek's got a chance to steal. What do you think the name of the band is that the girls would have gone and seen together? Number 6.
Similar to the Go-Go's.
Yeah.
Should I give Derek a hint?
No, I don't want any special treatment.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, come on. You can guess a band.
Guess an 80s girl band.
Anything?
I got nothing.
It's the Bangles.
No, but those were both
wrong.
Those were both good guesses.
No.
It was the B-52s. The B-52s.
Wait.
B-52s.
I don't think that's correct.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't think it is. Yeah, I think we should look it up.
I'll ask the next question, and you can look it up on your phone while we do that. Okay, very good. /
you don't need the extra
cheating.
point.
/ she's cheating.
I know, but I want the public to have the correct information.
Because
about
there have been times where I've given the wrong. Like, Alexander Hamilton was our first president. That's Number 6. This is Super Nintendo. What was the last game starring Mario in 1996 on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System? The last game, 1996. Then the 64 came out. So what do you think that last Mario game was?
Butts.
Yes.
I'm going to say, I don't know if this is the exact title, but Mario RPG?
That is 100% correct.
Yay.
The Search for the 7 Stars, I believe is the name of it. That's 2 points for Derek. Amy, did you have any idea?
It is the Bangles.
It is the Bangles?
But as I did not get it right on my first guess, I did not get it right overall, but the public should know.
It is definitely the Bangles?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I must have been looking at a very wrong site.
If you enjoy the B-52s in comedies, you can watch Difficult People on Hulu for a cameo by Kate Pearson.
Well, I got that question from the B-52's website. So I think they really just want to be on the Gilmore Girls.
Wow.
And they want people... No, I didn't. I did not find it on there.
We should start that rumor for sure.
Okay, here's number 7, everybody. Number 7. Who speaks the first line of the series, The Gilmore Girls?
Oh.
Which character speaks the first line of the series? This is one I feel like Derek could steal if you happen to get it wrong, Amy, or you could buzz in right now and try your heart at it.
But
yes,
Lorelai?
That is correct. Sorry, Derek. We really built that up, and that's 6
Yep.
points.
Would you have guessed that?
No. I was going to go with Luke.
Yeah.
Why would a non-Gilmore girl have the
Not a
first
Gilmore
line?
or a girl.
It'd be funny
You
if he
thought it
just
was
said Gilmore, a character. Gilmore. It's 6 right now to 2. Derek still has a few chances to come back and steal some points here. We're on question number 7. This is for Super Nintendo. Who is the first boss you face in Turtles in Time? Arcade beat-em-up fighting game. Think about Ninja Turtles. Who would be the first boss you face? This one's pretty inside if you're not
Where's
a Turtles
Jason
fan.
Bice when you need
Yeah,
him?
Jason Bice would know
Jason
this.
Bice does know this one for sure.
But
Yes.
I'm just going to guess Baxter Stockman.
That is 100% correct. Yes. Well done. That was a hard question. 3 points for Derek to Amy 6. We are moving on to question number 8. Gilmore Girls. The only time Lorelai's birthday is celebrated is in season 3. What giant thing does Rory make for her?
But
Yes.
pizza.
It is a pizza. 1 point for Amy. So this is a very interesting podcast because there's no steals so far, right? There haven't been any steals. Yeah, usually that's a big part of it. So I kind of like the way things are going and tearing this marriage apart. Number 8, what kind of hat does Mario wear on the cover of Super Mario All-Stars? That was the collection of all the Mario games on Super Nintendo. What kind of hat does Mario wear on the cover of that game?
I'm enjoying thinking about types of hats.
But
Yes.
I'm going to go with like the coonskin cap.
Not a bad guess, but that is incorrect. What do you think? Yes.
I'm going to go with a felted wool cloche.
It is a top hat. He is like, it's like he's doing magic and producing like this amazing, like, I really don't know why it's magic based, but it's like, he's like, look at this amazing deal you're getting on all these games.
All these Mario games.
He is wearing a top hat or like a magician's hat. So no points there. There's 2 things Amy loves. She loves thinking about hats and she loves thinking about cults. So here we go. Maybe you could start like a hat cult.
Yeah.
People that
it
love
would
hats.
definitely be tinfoil hats.
There's a great hat store in Burbank. Have you ever driven past it?
Oh, yes. I've never
It's
been
like
in
the
there.
Hat Emporium or something. And they have, it's like,
I gotta go there.
they did all of John Wayne's cowboy hats. I do know that.
Oh,
From
cool.
all the old Westerns, they fit them perfectly to the Duke. Is that his name? The Duke's head?
Sure.
Maybe I just made up a
No,
nickname.
that's 100% true.
Okay. Well, I read it on the B-52's bio, so hopefully that is correct. Number 9, the exterior shot of the Dragonfly Inn on Gilmore Girls is actually the house from what 70s show?
But
Yes.
All in the Family.
Incorrect. Amy, any guesses? Exterior shot of the Dragonfly Inn is actually the house from what 70s
it was
show?
on the Warner Brothers lot.
Oh boy, she's doing some math.
So
She's pulled out a lot
Let's
of
go with-
schematics and maps.
Dark Shadows.
Incorrect, but not a bad guess. It was the Waltons.
Oh.
John Boy. Doc Boy? No. Doc? Who's Doc?
John Boy. John Boy's right.
Was there Doc as well?
No.
No doctors.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why I said that because I know where the Dark Shadows house is.
Okay.
It's in Maine, and I
Oh.
drove by it on a boat, and George H.W. Bush waved to me.
What a story.
Yep.
That doesn't happen to everybody. Was he painting?
No, I did. This is the senior. I don't think he paints.
Oh, yeah.
Junior
H.W.
paints.
What's he's just George W. Bush.
Yeah, George W.
H.W.
George
Senior.
H.W. And you know what? I will say that while I don't agree with their politics, they were great dog owners.
Oh, they were. They were big time dog
yeah.
fanatics.
From the early days of YouTube, there had George W. Bush had a series of Miss Beasley, his dog, giving tours of the White House. So
That's
check
pretty
that
amazing.
out.
Pretty good.
Presidential pets, call back.
You're pretty sour we didn't do that category, huh?
Yeah.
This is number 9, and we have just 3 questions left in this first portion of the show. We're almost done here. Number 9, what's the subtitle to Super Mario World 2? Super Mario World 2, one of the last games on the system. What's the subtitle to it? Super Mario World 2, something, 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 something. It's not that many words, but you get it. Any guesses? Super Mario World 2.
Man, I feel like I should know this.
Any guesses? Derek or Amy? Amy's thinking to Dragon Chan and Friends, seeing what you can pull out.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
Super Mario 2 and Friends.
Incorrect, Amy?
Pipes and mushrooms.
Two of my favorite things, man, living in California. No, it's Yoshi's Island. It was just called Yoshi's Island. Your baby Mario on Yoshi's back. You could shoot shells. It's a very fun game.
Cute.
I think it's hard to find now. But Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. And that's all the different color ones do different things. So that's kind of fun too. Okay, that is, we just have one question left for each category. This is the last Gilmore Girls question. And then we'll do a combo question in categories with buds. Number 10, Gilmore Girls. What movie is mentioned more than any other movie on the show?
Whoa, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm. What movie is mentioned more than any other movie on the show? What do you think it is? It's not Die Hard. There's a hint. Yes.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Incorrect. Derek. Think about that show. What they would talk about, reference.
The Breakfast Club.
That's pretty close. Dirty Dancing.
Was going to be my second
Dirty
guess.
Dancing. Dirty Dancing mentioned more than any other movie on the show by the Gilmore Girls. That's the last question of that. Here's the last Super Nintendo question. In 1992, there was a basketball game called Bulls versus Who in the NBA playoffs. That was the full name of the game. Bulls versus what other team in the NBA playoffs? What was that other team?
I'm going to guess Hornets.
Incorrect. Amy?
Celtics.
Incorrect. It was the Blazers. Bulls versus Blazers. Bulls, a couple of B teams.
Quite a nice alliteration, but was that a rivalry?
I'm sure it was, right? It had to be if they made a game about it.
They made a game.
Early 90s. I think it was 92. Oh, yeah, 92. That was the question. No points there.
That? Where are they from? Is that still a team?
Portland Trail. That's Jefferson's
team.
I know that, but do people call them Blazers? They're the Trailblazers. I think
they call them the Blazers
for sure.
Okay, fine. Sports,
they all wear Blazers.
Games.
It's a fun thing. So right now, Amy has 7 points to Derek's 3. So if you win the combo question, Derek, and you win the category off, then you would win by 1 point. Otherwise, Amy will take this thing home and we'll give some prizes out. Here's the combo question. Combo question! This week, we're featuring a combo question with an audio clip. What? So I'm going to play a commercial for you, okay? And then I'm going to ask you a question about it, okay? So here is the clip I'm going to play, and you guys listen to it and tell me what the answer is when we're done.
Big, stylish, and now one of the best values in America. Just for a limited time, buy the Super NES Super Set and get 5 complete Mario games standard. Mario! You'll find the Super Set is like no other system. In performance, handling, and Mode 7 control, you'll get Super Mario World, and for $3.50 in postage, Super Mario All-Stars free with 4 Mario games in 1. Mario! So stop by your Nintendo dealer today. You don't get Super Nintendo Super Set.
All right, so that was a commercial for Super Nintendo from the early 90s. And my question for you is, what was the name of the females that sang in that commercial? They sang a couple things. They were like, I didn't show you the commercial, you just heard it. So people at home playing will have also heard it. And you're going to tell me the name of the women that were singing. They were called the something something. And think about this being the combo question. It somehow combines Super Nintendo and Gilmore Girls. Buzz in with an answer when you think you know it.
But
yes,
the Super Mario Girls.
That is correct. They were the Mario Girls. So I'm going to give that to Derek.
Wow.
Amy, that was pretty crazy. That was. Did you have any guess?
Did you have any idea? The Mario Girls.
The Mario Girls. Really?
More correct.
Oh my God!
But it's fine.
Well, I got
so that's 2 points in the combo question. That gives Derek 5. He is on his way to win this thing.
Whoa.
Let's see if he can win this last little thing.
Categories with buds.
All right. So now we just have one more thing to do. It's called Categories with Buds. We've teased it the whole episode. And we're going to go around and name things from a different category. Now, you guys have done this a lot at my live trivia events where we'll be like, let's name 80s movies. And then we all go around or whatever. Mm-hmm. The category today is titles of Goosebumps books.
Oh,
how do you both feel about that? On a 1 to 10, Derek, how good are you with Goosebumps book titles?
Probably a 3.
A 3. And Amy, higher or lower than a 3?
I'd say a 3
A 3 and a 3. A couple of 3s. Okay, that's a 6 together, so maybe we'll get some action. You're going to name Goosebumps books titles. I'll kick it off. We'll go around in a circle. Last person standing gets 3 points. So if Derek wins, he wins the whole thing. If Amy wins, she wins the whole thing. And if I win, I will award the points to one of you. And who will that be?
Well, I will say right now, all I can think of are the fake Goosebumps titles that my little brother made up after our great uncle died.
Oh, my goodness.
That was his first encounter with death. So we found all these illustrations of books called Uncle Bob Walks at Midnight.
Oh, my goodness. That's amazing. So it's basically fan fiction. Yeah. Poor Uncle Bob. Okay. Goosebump books title. I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to kick it off with Monster Blood.
I'm going to say Night of the Living Dummy.
Night of the Living Dummy.
Oh, what's that one? About there's
Uncle Bob. ...
Well, yeah, what is that one based on?
I don't know. Something walks at midnight.
Oh, what is it? You could say another one?
Slappy.
That's the name of the book? Slappy?
Yes.
Slappy is the dummy from Night of the Living Dummy, but I don't think he had his own spin-off book. Amy, nothing?
No.
Oh, no. Derek, it's down to me and you.
All right.
Which means that, you could possibly win, or I win and I award the points to Amy. So we'll see how it goes.
It's going to be really boring for people to listen to.
No,
it was anticlimactic, I will say that. My next Goosebumps title is Deep Trouble, that had I think, shark on the cover.
Oh, yeah. It came from beneath the sink.
That's a good one. Say cheese and die.
That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of the word cheese.
There's a lot of warnings in the titles where they're like, get off the roof or something. That's not a Goosebumps book.
Say there's one that's called The Mask.
You're
right?
Close. The Haunted Mask. Oh. And The Haunted Mask, too.
I remember that one.
All right.
I'm going to count The Mask to keep it going a little bit further.
Great.
The Ghost Next Door.
Oh, man. I was banking a lot on that mask.
It's fun when I pick a category. I happen to know a few of it. You guys have no idea.
I'm going to make one up called The Werewolf Club.
Werewolf Club? Oh, can we write that with your brother?
Yes, yes, he'd love that.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm going to say the last one, and it's don't go in the basement or stay out of the basement.
Stay out of the basement.
Stay out of the basement.
That's a good one.
So I'm declaring myself the winner. And the points,
congrats,
I'm going to divvy out right now. Yeah, it's a big deal when I win. I'm going to give 1 point to Derek. That gives him 6. I'm going to give another point to Derek. That gives him 7. And that means it's 7-7 right now. So who's going to get the last point? Lucky. Lucky gets the last point. No. I am going to say that Amy gets the last point because she gave a little bit better performance overall. So Amy wins 8 points to Derek's 7. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
I have prizes for you.
Come back there.
Oh my gosh.
For first place, do you like candy or fire? That's my question for you. Candy or fire? Candy. Then you get a box of Mike and Ike's original fruits. Hopefully you enjoy those.
It has my high school field hockey nickname in it.
Mike and Ike?
Just Ike.
Oh, you were Ike.
Yes.
Iker.
Short for my last name.
Iker, that's right.
Thank
E-I-C-H-E-R. So that's for you. And Derek, you might use this when you're doing some sort of wood project. It is a Trivia with Buds lighter. That's right. Awesome. It is a clicky kind, and it has a bottle opener for when you're drinking and using a saw. So there you go.
That's great.
That's for you, and it's orange, so enjoy that. You're drinking out of an orange cup, so I assume you love the color orange.
I do.
You guys, thanks so much for being on the show. Anything you want to plug before you go? Anything that people should watch or follow?
When does this come out?
This will come out sometime in the next month.
Okay, great. Well, if
Gilmore Girls is coming back.
Oh, yeah, Gilmore Girls is coming back. November 29th.
Amy runs the Twitter account for Lorelai and Rory.
I guess I should plug the shows I work on. Watch At Midnight every weeknight at 11:30.
It's a very fun show.
And keep an eye out in January for a new animated show called Jeff and Some Aliens.
Okay, Jeff and Some Aliens.
Your audience will really dig it.
Sweet.
Brett Gelman is the voice of Jeff.
Oh, fantastic.
He's from Shadow Machine, the studio behind BoJack Horseman.
Love it.
And it is great. I think it reminds me a lot of Rick and Morty.
So okay. And people love that show. I was at Comic-Con yesterday, and people went nuts. So many Rick and Morty costumes, more than anything, probably. And Harley Quinn. Those are the big ones.
Oh, and follow me on Twitter, at Amy Iker.
Amy Iker, E-I-C-H-E-R.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Amy. And Derek?
Yeah, so...
Where can people see you with your wood?
Look for my wood projects on my Instagram, at Dukes McClurg.
Dukes?
Two O's.
Two O's. D-O-O-K-S.
M-C-C-L-U-R-G.
Dukes McClurg.
Same for Twitter.
A lot of cool projects and stuff on there.
Selling at flea markets here and there over the next couple months.
Mm-hmm. And people can watch your show on what network?
Watch We Bare Bears on Cartoon Network Thursdays. Don't know the time, but it's a good show.
Aren't you literally in charge of the timing of things on that show?
No. Who's your multi-platform strategy producer?
Oh, boy. Little lover's quarrel.
Yeah, there's some good episodes coming out. One that's kind of a parody of Drive, which is pretty cool.
Can't wait to see it. Guys, thanks so much for having me in your house, and thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Listener quiz.
There it is, another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. Close game, kind of. Derek did not know as much as he thought about Super Nintendo games. So thanks so much for listening to that episode. I have the listener quiz for you. I just got home, actually, at the time of this recording from hosting some trivia myself at the Moose Den in Glendale, California, which is every Monday night from 8 to 10. It's actually right down the street from Derek and Amy's house. And I wanted to share this zinger with you. This guy came up to me at the end of the night when he was turning in his last answer sheet for round 5. And he said, "Hey, did we get any points for sucking?" And I said, "Sucking what?" And then I high-fived myself and did a little dance. So I wanted to share that with you. Here's the listener quiz, everybody. These are the 3 questions you can play at home. And you just got to send me the answers to these questions to get in a raffle. What are you going to get if you win the raffle? You're going to get a Guardians of the Galaxy Dorbs figurine. That's right, a Funko Pop Vinyl minifigure called a Dorb, D-O-R-B-Z, Dorbs. And you will get a Guardians of the Galaxy one featuring Rocket Raccoon, everyone's favorite little animated cartoon from that movie voiced by Bradley Cooper. These are the 3 questions. They're totally random. And you will just send me the answers to these questions. I'll put all those names that got them right in a raffle, and you will win this item. Number 1 for this week's listener quiz, who wrote the book Interview with a Vampire? Not the movie, but who wrote the book Interview with a Vampire? Question 1. Question number 2, what Ninja Turtle uses a bow staff? That's a nice easy one for you. What Ninja Turtle uses a bow staff? And question number 3, who goes first in the game Clue? Which character on the board always goes first in the game Clue? Those are your 3 listener quiz questions. Send me the answers to win yourself a nice Rocket Raccoon Dorbs toy. Some quick dates for you. Harry Potter trivia on November 26th. That is coming up just next week. It is a big arts and crafts fair of the Harry Potter variety at a place called Geeky Teas, T-E-A-S. They sell tea. They sell board games. You could play board games there. They do game nights, and they adopt cats. It's got everything you could want if you like stuff. So come play on November 26th. We'll be doing some Harry Potter trivia to end that big arts and crafts show. I believe it is 7 to 9 p.m. It's totally free, and we're going to be giving away a ton of cool stuff. I will also be this weekend at Designer Con on November 20th, I believe. It's a Sunday, and you can come and hang out there. If you happen to be listening to this and you happen to be going to Designer Con, I will be there with a press pass. And I will be talking to a bunch of amazing artists and asking them trivia questions, which I will then throw in as clips to future podcasts. So check that out. Designer Con, November 19th and 20th. I will definitely be there. Also, November 19th, doing a big Movember event, the big mustache growing event out in Upland at Last Name Brewing. My wife will be selling her LuLaRoe clothing, and we'll have a little booth tent set up where I'll be doing trivia and bingo and all kinds of fun stuff to give away prizes and promote those fun events we do out in Upland, California. So come and see us at our booth. And November 20th, I'm doing a stand-up show at the Chop Shop, which is in SIMI Valley. It's hosted by my friend Casey Moran. You don't want to miss it. It's a free show, I believe, and it's Sunday night. I think it's at 7 p.m., November 20th, the Chop Shop in Simi Valley. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, do all that good stuff. And most importantly, tell a friend if they like trivia, if they like pop culture, if they like the Gilmore Girls or Super Nintendo, send them a link to this and say, let's see how much you know, bucko. That's kind of fun to say. You can just tell them they're called bucko from now on. This has been Ryan Buds. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great week, and hope to see you at some events very soon. Bye-bye.